got yourself a storage unit. Now what?
Hello everybody and welcome again to another episode of Storage Scores brought to you by Storage Treasures. I'm Kurt Strutz. Today we're going to look at scrapping metal. And to start out with, I want to take you inside to my warehouse. We're going to go through a bunch of pots and pans and different metal objects and discern and decipher exactly what types of metals we're dealing with, and we'll run them off to the scrapyard today. Today we're going to be going through a box that you may often find in your storage units when you win them at auction. That is the nasty box of kitchen stuff. Yeah, you will find these in quite a few units. People, when they move, especially if they move in a hurry, a lot of times they'll throw just about anything and everything out of the kitchen into one of these boxes, and usually you get a pretty kind of well-used and abused mess inside of the box. I know a lot of people that will take this and throw it right in the dumpster, but let me tell you, there is money in this box. You're thinking, well, yeah, selling them at the flea market. I'm not even talking selling them at the flea market. We're talking about quick cash you can pull out of items in the junk kitchen box. We're gonna go through this box right now real quick and show you exactly what you need to do and what you need to sort of what you can sell. First thing you wanna do when you get one of these type of boxes, get rid of the plasticware. I mean, that's not much you can do with that. The funnels, I mean, especially when they're kind of used and a little bit on the more gross side. Glass items, plastic items, a lot of times your best bet is to just discard them, get rid of them altogether. The blender looks like somebody actually got sick in it. That's how gross it is, but we're just gonna throw it away. A lot of times you get these electronics like this blender we're talking about here, mixer. They are pretty rough, pretty beat up. First thing I will do, this is money hanging right here. That's the extension power cord. I will go ahead and outright clip off the cord, throw this in my recycling bin, take this to the scrapyard, sell it as insulated wire. That's some money right there. The other part of the unit, some places will take this, call it breakage. You can recycle the parts, break it open if you want to take the time. For me, sometimes, all the time I have, because I've got so much to process, is to just cut that cable off, move on to the next item. Other things in here, we've got spoons, forks, common pizza cutters, type of kitchen utensils. The first time I started buying units, I got excited because I started realizing that stainless steel pays a higher price than what conventional sheet iron or standard steel will at the scrapyard. So I was taking all my silverware, putting it in a box because it did say stainless steel, which this one says stainless right on the back. Just because it says stainless does not always mean it is stainless steel. I learned that the hard way the first time I tried to sell these off as stainless steel at the local scrapyard. What you want to do is get yourself a magnet. Easiest way to tell, it is not stainless steel. It is sticking to the magnet. It is outright sheet iron is what that would be classified when you take it to the scrapyard. So if it sticks to the magnet, you know you cannot run that through as stainless steel. This magnet came out of a storage unit. You'll find them in the storage units. I keep one with me, I keep another one in my truck, and I think I've got a third one in the back room behind me, so I've got 3 separate magnets at any given time so I can test the metal out. Another thing you want to watch for, pots and pans too. A lot of steel pans, but you're going to find a lot of aluminum pans. Use your magnet to check those pots and pans, and when you take them to the scrapyard, get your maximum dollar out of them. This one I can tell you right here, this is not going to stick to the magnet. Nope. This is actually aluminum ice cream scoop. You'll get actually a higher price again for the aluminum versus the steel or the wannabe stainless steel spoons we had earlier. This would go in a third pile for aluminum collection. Oh, here's an interesting piece. Copper. Yeah. Copper actually is one of the more higher priced items you can take in as far as metals go to a scrapyard typically. The problem is a lot of times you'll see copper, doesn't necessarily mean it is copper. I highly doubt the cookie cutter is copper, and it's not. This is actually steel. So we're basically here dealing with another piece of sheet iron scrap. We'll scrap that. That one might be good enough to actually sell off at the flea market or at your rummage sale at home. But for practical purposes, if you want to just liquidate this stuff fast, free up some more cash to use for your next purchase at a storage auction, taking these things and scrapping them out real fast is usually an easy way to get through it. Well, here we are today outside my big bay of the warehouse. We have got a heap of different types of metals we're going to scrap and recycle today. I've got everything kind of divided up ahead of time. We want to get the higher price stuff separate from the lower price stuff. A bunch of stuff we're taking today. We've got a bunch of old electronic equipment, all steel framework, steel construction. Strip the cords off of those. We'll be taking those over to the yard. I've got a basket here that's full of all different types of stainless steel, pots and pans, dishes, pitchers. One thing you gotta be careful with stainless steel, there's a lot of stuff marked stainless steel that's not always stainless steel. Give it the magnet test to make sure. True stainless steel will not hold a magnetic charge up against the magnet. Other bins here, this is all scrap iron. We've got some larger furniture items, the old satellite dish, that's all scrappable iron. We're gonna scrap those out today. Two bins here we've got, these are all actually aluminum. Again, non-magnetic aluminum. You want to separate that aluminum out from the iron and steel you have. Reason being, you're going to get double the money in most cases or better on that aluminum pots and pans than what you would just standard scrap iron, scrap sheet metal. So make sure you do separate those out. We'll find out what I receive value-wise on those today at the scrap yard. This bin right here, we've got a couple of motors. They call this breakage. Motors, gears, electric motors. We've got 3 of those in here. We're going to scrap those out today at the yard. And then there's the real gold. The gold of this business are these 2 tubs here. We've got 2 tubs packed full of insulated wire. I make more money on insulated wire typically than what I do on anything else I scrap. You'll see when we get our total today, there's going to be a lot more money in those 2 red buckets than probably everything else combined. That's how valuable that insulated wire can be. And you can scrap insulated wire. You don't need to strip the outer off. You don't need to burn the outer coating off. Easy, easy. Everything else, I've got 2 more bins here of various metal, sheet iron type of products, all magnetic alloyed metals. I've also got a bunch of scrap metal here. The ladder's not going, but I've got some little racks, some poles, some bed frames, some old curtain rods, barbell weight, just stuff that's completely useless because they're either broken, partial, or don't have a use for them, or there's no resale for them. We're gonna start loading the stuff up in the truck. Metal, you got to be careful, especially when you start bending and breaking stuff up. You will get sharp edges on here. We've already had problems with certain people on our technical staff already getting stabbed by this piece here today. But make sure you wear old shirts. I'm wearing my old human shirt today. Reason being, literally in probably the past year, I have ripped and destroyed 1 pair of gloves and 3 t-shirts so far this year, making my 2 or 3 trips a month to the scrap yard. So, you know, this is a typical week's worth of scrapping metal right here out of storage units. This all came in last week. Make sure you do wear some old clothing because it's always going to risk a chance of getting snagged, especially at the scrap yard, and tearing your shirt. So let's get this stuff loaded up into the truck and trailer, and let's get some money. My oh my, is it hot out today. But I'll tell you, scrapping does pay off. That load, just took it to the scrapyard. $154.99 was the total on that scrap load. What's amazing is that's almost what I paid for the units that they came out of, and I still had all the other stuff to deal with. So definitely make sure you're scrapping your stuff that you get out of storage units. Your wire, insulated wire alone, $82.40 of that. As I told you, that's the insulated wire. That's where the money is in doing this. The aluminum pots and pans I sorted out by using the magnet. Literally almost 3 times as much I received out of those as what I did on the sheet iron. Sort that aluminum, pull out those wires, scrap them at the scrapyard, and you will have enough money that you can turn around and go buy several more units. So thanks for joining us today on behalf of Storage Treasures. I'm Kurt Strutz. Score big.